we made it. Let's get it on, we got it going, stay strong. Oh, it looks like it looks like yeah, it looks like we made it.
All right, I think we are live. Seems like there's an issue on Facebook though.
Oh no.
But that's okay. We're on YouTube, guys, so you can head over to the YouTube channel. You know what it is, at SAS Pro. You can't miss it. I have Mr. Robin Alex with us, and I am super excited to have you today. I know that you are busy doing level up stuff, right? Isn't that you? You're behind the man behind the scene.
Yeah, I have my hands kind of in every part of the business. Handle, marketing, customer service, customer support, helping customers every day. Still on the product side, helping where I can there, and just by any means necessary, trying to push the company forward.
Yeah, so everybody sees Sean, right? Because we all watch the videos. You're like the man behind the scenes, right? Like you're just
Yeah,
doing a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of everything.
I like to work in the shadows. I don't need to, be front facing. Sean's really great at that. He's very great being in front of the camera and talking to people. For me, I've been helping the teams really scale up and growing, and then Varun on the other side, he's incredible on the tech side. So with the product, managing all the developers and making sure development stays strong as fast as we can, which the with us two working behind the scenes gives Sean a lot of gunpowder to be shooting out videos all day long for the coming
That's
at you stuff.
that's so fun. Um, you know what's really cool? Bear with me here. I'm putting this YouTube link in the Facebook group for these guys.
Yeah.
What's really cool is that I watched a lot of videos about you, and I get that about you, and I love that. This might sound funny from you, from coming from me, but I moved to Atlanta. I'm in Dallas. I'm from Dallas. I
Yeah.
moved to, yeah, right. I know I'm like 12 miles south of you, really,
Nice.
So yeah. But I moved to Atlanta and I got in the tech world, right? I started working with a Pakistan group of guys, and before that I was selling copiers, right? And I'm going to show my age here for just a minute because I have to tell you the story. It was when 311 just became networked. Okay, so we were selling copiers, and Sharp was one of the first. Sharp and Rico came out with this awesome machine you could put in these offices, and you'd network all your computers, right, to go to the
Hmm.
software. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I know, IT guy. So they hired me for like, I don't know, it was like $30,000 a year to be a customer service rep. So the guys would go out and sell the technology, but they didn't have a clue. And here's me hanging out with the service guys, and we're all trying to figure out this whole Microsoft network thing, right? And I'm reading books and I'm trying to figure it out just so I can go train on how to connect this thing in your office. And anyway, long story short, the vice president of sales came to me in 3 months and she goes, "Why don't you just sell these things? You'll sell them like crazy." And she said, I was like, "I don't really know. I'm making my $30,000 a year. I'm happy." And she's like, "But you know everything about it. You don't have to sell. You just have to go and tell people about it. You don't have to be the IT guy. We got people that'll set that up. Just go tell them what you know, and we'll sell the craziness out of it." She goes, "Oh, by the way, it's 100% commission." And I was like, 100%, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to sell. Man, it was like 6 months. I read every sales book there was known to man. She made a deal with me that if in 90 days my salary wasn't more, that I could go back to just training of what the salespeople did. In 90 days, literally, I had my first 10 grand check. And all I did was walk into the place and say, "Guys, you're spending this much ink over here and this much ink." And they'd have like 20, 30 printers, right? And they're
Yep.
HP, so they weren't cheap. So anyway, so from the network background, you're the tech guy. You in your mind, I'm the vaccine guy. I'm going to make sure it's all going to work. And then after that, I went to go work for a company called ExecuTrain, which they have one here in Dallas. when I worked with, I was doing inside sales and then I got all the way promoted to program director. And my job was to fill 15 classrooms with all the salespeople, butts and seats. But guess what it was? Microsoft, what is it? MCSC certification. Did
Yep.
you ever get any of those? Were you a part of all that in that, what is it? Microsoft certified professional
Yeah.
network,
Yeah.
the whole certification
Yeah,
thing?
yeah, I'm fully aware of it. I mean, there's the Cisco ones as well.
Yes,
There's, the A
Cisco.
plus and all that. What's funny is I was in IT and did all that, but every time that I thought about doing the certifications, I would try to network with somebody who's gotten it or whatever, and it's like, well, I kind of know more than you. Like, I think I could
Yeah.
real world application pull it off a little bit
Mhm.
better than you could, and so it just never gave me that inspiration to go get the certification. And I'm not a book smart person. I'm more of a real world, reality. This is how things get done. So I would just, read the book on the section that I needed to understand or watch YouTube videos. I mean, YouTube wasn't around back then, but just finding any
Yeah.
blog or any article, Stack
It was
Overflow, just anybody talking about it online, or even calling other people who have done it. Hey, how do you handle this situation? And to be honest, that's how I figured it out.
it was so funny too because our whole sales pitch was like, get certified, you'll get a job, or get certified and, whatever. But there were so many network guys that were sitting in there going, I do this stuff in my sleep, and you're telling me I need to go take some test on a CD or whatever and take
Exactly.
apart a computer and put it back together. But it was good for me. I got to learn a lot from the back side of all of that and, put it together. So it was pretty cool. It gave me an understanding of how the computer works, which really helps when it comes to software sales. So for me, I think it's funny how we do things where we did things back then and now we're doing them in our job, like in the job that we actually love,
Yeah.
because I get that impression from you guys. Y'all really love what you do, and like I said, I've heard the stories. Tell us a little bit about the backstory. Like I've heard you say it. You don't have to say the whole thing, but tell everybody a little bit about, like, how did you go from network to high level?
Yeah. So, coming out of college, I was doing a whole bunch of freelancer stuff, being a DJ and things of that nature, but I was also in software. So I was actually working for a group under SAP, one of the subsidiaries building software. And unfortunately, the software that I was a part of got in a major lawsuit by their competitor, Oracle. So I was sidelined and couldn't do anything
Gotcha.
for a couple of years. And so that's why I was a DJ because I was, they needed to keep me
While
on
you're
board. So
saying that, Alex, I got to tell you something. Do you know that's what I did to quit my sales job? Was I DJ'd weddings and events, and I left that, and I was designing websites to get over to high level. But no one heard of us, but I knew how to market. So all of a sudden we came out of nowhere. We were doing weddings and events. And I think I've mentioned you, Crystal. She was doing the wedding planning and I was playing the music. We were like the duo girl team.
no
But
way.
I'm with you. It's a great weekend job and it was fun and it made a lot of money. It was my exit to leaving the corporate world because the day that they told me I had to sell toilet paper was the day that I was out. I was out.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm out. And her sister was getting married, and I was like, let's go buy a bunch of cool equipment. I mean, I'm talking Pioneer, state of the art Bose
Yeah.
stand
You get all the
towers, like the
lights.
whole
You
thing.
get,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I can relate to you on the DJ world. It's good money, especially the wedding world.
Oh, yeah.
2,000 bucks a weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great
building
money.
websites on the side. Yeah,
Yeah, but it is a slog, right? Like you gotta
yeah.
lug the equipment around. You gotta figure out where to store it
You,
and
you're the
get.
guy. You're supposed to pick that stuff up.
Well,
Me, I mean, we have pictures of us with dollies going into Irving Convention
yeah,
Center, and both of us are like holding down the equipment, just hoping to get the dolly in. I mean,
it's brutal, right? Like,
it
and
was.
people think it's easy. You just have a 2 hour gig or a 4 hour gig, but people don't realize it's usually the 3 hours of four of loading and unloading, and then the 2 hours and 3 hours of loading and unloading again.
That's
So
so fun. And I didn't want to interrupt you, but I love the DJ thing because it just kind of shows people out there, look, a lot of us, now you're obviously up there in the high level, but us agencies, I remember I drove for Uber. I was Ubering, I was trying to start a website business, I was DJing, I was doing like all kinds of stuff. And I think telling these things is like, having those side gigs and stuff like that. We're all kind of relating with you. We're all like, oh my God, when's the next paycheck going to come? And how are we going to do it? But go ahead and
Y-
continue. I think it's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, no, that is the world that I live. So I think that, from that empathetic perspective, I know where agencies are coming from. I know that mindset. And so we definitely try to align the business to match that. Because if we can match it, it makes it easier to come on board with us and friction points. Because we're trying to lean into the lifestyle that you're leading or living, right?
Right.
Um, but after that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to get into more development because I get in trouble there. Let's go into more traditional IT. And I love building computers and knew a little bit about computers and stuff like that. So walked down that path and was basically leading an organization here in Dallas. One of the leads in the Dallas market and grew that team, and learned about everything networking for small businesses. And what was incredible was the amounts of money that they were spending. Small businesses were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars putting
Right.
network racks and closets and rewiring their whole building, with
Hmm.
Cat 5 and servers. And these servers are like $50,000, $100,000. Um,
Yeah.
and doing these implementations. And so while they're doing a big investment there, they're also trying to figure out, how do I improve my online presence? So I need a new website. I need, what are all these new
Right.
tools? And so I was, the guy that's in the back closet trying to get your servers online and stuff like that. They would come ask me like, hey, we're getting these quotes for a website. Is this market, is this good or bad? And I would kind of look at it and be like, wow, you're spending a lot of money here. I could build you a website faster, quicker, and cheaper.
You're like, oh,
Can I use
I
that
could
for
do
you?
that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I started picking up projects like that. And those websites, first you would turn into a basic business like, hey, can you also build a database or can you do these sort of things? So I get into those projects as well.
Oh,
But
wow.
just like every other agency owner, feast and famine. You pick up a
Hmm.
project. Not only did I undercut somebody else, I don't realize it. It was probably a bad decision by undercutting it because you don't realize the long tail of projects. They never end. And no one wants to pay you for that. But once
Right.
you finish a project, you don't have anything else lined up, right? And so now it's the hustle again. How do I get another one? How do I get another one? Um, and what I learned was the way to actually stay with the business long term was being at the revenue line. If you can help them bring more customers into their front door,
Hmm.
they become more of a partner to you and you become a partner to them. You're involved in their day-to-day business and they want to keep you around long term because you're actually helping the bottom line. So once I realized that, that's where I definitely shifted, doing more Google ads, SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, and things of that nature. And from there, I was able to quit my IT consulting job and start building an agency. And from there, it was a three. Actually, I was doing it for about 6, 7 years before we ended up, consolidating with HighLevel. But we were growing it. We had about 20 people around the world supporting that company. About
Hmm.
at its peak, about 200 and some odd customers, various different
Oh.
services, and the same challenges that every agency dealt with, which was churn. The
Yeah, because they're not
faster
going to
that
pay
you
that $1,500 every month for
it's an
unless you're really
expense,
good.
right?
Yeah.
And us as the team that's delivering, we're doing the best job that we can. We are delivering leads, but
Hmm.
the dentist is always going to be the dentist. They don't know what to do
Hmm.
with leads. And it doesn't matter. You try to get on a phone call with them. You tell them like, look, I brought you 87 leads this month. These are hot prospects.
Right.
And you're having to convince them, like, can you call them? Can you really force your front
Right.
desk person to make outbound calls and talk to them? And they'll come back next month and saying, all right, the front desk girl or the front desk person called. They didn't get a hold of anybody. Well, then you're like questioning, did they really do it or
No,
to what level did
but
they
it's
do
your
it?
fault. It's your
It's still
fault.
my fault,
Yeah,
right?
it's still your
But
fault. Yeah.
and generating leads is not an easy business. So not
Right.
only do we generate 80 the first month, we got to figure out how to get another lead flow of the same thing the second month, right? And then you're just convincing them, trying to convince them to do the work that they don't ultimately want to do or know how to do effectively. And
Right.
it's this weird balance. Do I go even harder
Hmm.
to try helping them solve this problem, which means I'm not going to make more money. It's just keeping my customer for the same amount, which means more work
Hmm.
for me, or I have to feel comfortable letting the customer go. because I
Right.
can't give them more time. And so I erred to the side of I'm going to figure this out for the customer because I wanted to build that long term relationship there. And so we were losing a lot of dollars because you're not
Right.
selling anymore. You're focused on operationalizing their business, and of
Right.
course, you're never charging enough. But at the same time, because I'm helping this customer, I can't help the other three, and so it's this churn and burn game. And so it's like this weird hamster wheel that we were on. And so, through that, it was like, how do we build a system that can really do a lot of the texting for them, the calling for them, and
Mhm.
really validate if they're doing the hard work
The
and allow them
follow-up.
to track
Yeah,
the follow
yeah.
up and nurturing
Yeah.
that we're telling them to do, and we're trying to give them spreadsheets where they can check it off to do it, but they're not going to do it at the level that we would want it to happen. And so we actually mapped out this whole system, and we just let it sit on a whiteboard forever because we had to go back
Mhm.
to helping the next customer. And randomly, I got a phone call from one of my customers who was saying, "Hey, um, I got a call from these two guys. They are launching a new software about reputation management, but they don't have, they need access to certain things. I don't know what my passwords are. They're confusing me on the questions. Can you talk to them?" So I got in a call with them and gave them what they needed. They got the customer online, and I was like, "Hey, well, while I have you on, tell me more about this product. What exactly does it do? Is it something that I should buy for the rest of my customers?" Um, and they were walking me through it, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool, but have you thought about these other things?" And I actually, took a what was like, "Hey, hold on a second." I went to the whiteboard, took a picture, put up on the screen. I was like, "Can your system do this?" And they're like, no, but let me get back to you in a couple of days." And I still remember this very clearly. Um, when you're talking to a software company and they're like, "Hey, give us a couple of days, we'll solve your problem," I just brush it off, thinking they're just, you don't know who's on the other line. They could be this massive organization, could be like I wasn't even thinking like that, but it was just the odd response. I was like, "Oh, they're just kicking me off the call." And then a couple of days later, I'm driving to the office. It's 8 a.m. Dallas time. Driving to the office, and it's like, "Oh, this is weird. I'm getting a phone call this early," and it was Sean. Sean's calling me. He's like, "Hey, are you able to get on a computer? We want to show you something." And I was like, who is this again? A couple days later,
Mhm.
I brushed it off, and he's re-explaining himself. It's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Give me 20 minutes. I'll be at the office, and we'll look at it." Get to the office, and of course, I forget about it. And talking to the team and stuff like that, and then got a call an hour later, and it's Sean. Sean's very persistent. So, "Hey, you need to get on the phone with us. Where are you, man? We've been waiting for you." So I get on, and they show me everything, and it was kind of the first version, call it HighLevel Light 1.0. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. Can I test it on a couple of customers?" So we tested it on one of our agency customers. Um, Great success. We tested on the co-customer that we had. Great success.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Well, I want to buy it for all of my customers because if I can prove this model, I bought back so much of my time." And we started loading it up to all of our customers. And I was like, "Hey, I know a couple more agencies. Can I reach out to them and offer it to them? And
Mhm.
just because you guys provided me so much value, let me see if I can provide you guys value." And reached out to 20 agencies, and the agencies, everyone's like, "Yes, of course, free product, of course, but I got to pay for it at the end if I like it." "Yeah, I'll think about it."
Ah.
And everyone said yes, they want to be a part of it, but only 13 people actually called me and, "Hey, let's get on a call, let's do this thing." And out of the 13, everyone loved it, and everyone ended up paying. It was funny, we did a lifetime license on it because I needed to find some sort of buzz to help with
Right.
it. And everyone bought. They loved the idea. They loved the
And
concept.
that was
Uh,
just reputation management, correct?
that
Like
was
that was
and that was also the remodified version where we did the follow up, the basic
okay,
level of,
gotcha.
so if you're in HighLevel, the original version of campaigns and triggers,
Mhm.
and there was no calendar. It was the opportunity board
Gotcha.
and the
Wow.
conversation page. That's all it was.
Oh, wow.
And that we duct taped it. I mean, it was mostly Varun. Varun did a great job in duct taping because they had built other applications that over time duct taped all those together to really create this first version. It's incredible. Um, and we took that first 13, bought it, loved it, and all that. And one of them happened to be uh, the incredible Rob Bailey,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
great,
yeah.
great friend of mine. And he had at that point recently sold his agency and was talking about all the expenses he had at his agency, which was it was great.
Mhm.
The ROI was there, but it was just a lot of money. And when he saw our product, he's like, "What you guys have created is something so cost effective, but so needed in the agency space."
Mhm.
this is incredible. And he was actually transitioning to becoming a agency coach because he sold his agency and he wanted to go into the coaching world.
Right.
He's like, I'm actually doing my first in-person event in San Diego. I'd love for you guys to come out. So, Sean and Varun, I had to convince them. It's like, guys, I think this is important. You should be there. It's great for the product. Well, Varun's in Qatar, so it's hard for him to come across. And,
Right.
it's just me and Sean. And Sean doesn't know anything about the internet marketing space, doesn't know any of these individuals, doesn't know the
Right.
players. I had to convince him, like, hey, let's go to San Diego. And, he took a flyer. We both got a flight out there. It's the first time that we met in person. Literally on the flight, I'm creating a landing page, to take purchases. And we get there, literally the first time we met at the event. And we're talking to each other. And we thought we just had a 30-minute slot. We were just going to talk about the product. And in that 30 minutes, you have Varun, who's on the screen behind us, smiling, look incredible as he always does, and just us two. And Sean is just navigating through the app, as basic as it is. And then it was quiet. And we're just going to look at each other. And we're like, okay, well, I guess that's it. We didn't know what to
Yeah.
expect. We just dropped the URL and we're just like, I think that's how you do a pitch. We had very low expectations. We just thought the exposure was cool.
Right.
And it was quiet. And what it was is everyone on their computer going to the website. Then all of a sudden, our phones are vibrating. Ding, 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 ding. Like vibrating of purchase. Like, what? And what was interesting is Varun, who's just smiling on camera, people didn't realize that he had an Excel spreadsheet up where it's loading all the sales.
Oh, wow.
And he's behind the scenes manually sending out welcome emails of like, here's how to log in and stuff. Because we didn't have any of that wired up at that level right away. And we actually have some of those original screenshots, which is really cool. But that's how we started. And there's about 20 people in the room, maybe another 20 people virtually for that event. And I want to say the numbers was like 39 people bought immediately. And some people were like, hey, do you have an annual package? If I pay for the year, can I get a discount? And I was like, sure. And I'm running to the computer, like trying to add new products. Hey, do you guys have a mobile app? And we're like, yeah, we have one. It's called HighLevel. And they're like, can you white label it? And we're like, yeah. How much would you pay? Some guy's like, I'll pay $500 a month for it. We're like, done. And so here I'm running back to the computer, adding the products live. And, from that point on, it was all hands on deck of us onboarding every single person. And, one of our things was like, hey, well, I have you here. Do you know anyone else that would like this product? And, my model is always birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
So, two other agency owners or two other people that can find this product great. So can you refer them to us? And, sometimes we'd get aggressive and be like, well, can you put them on a group chat? Can you get them to jump into the Zoom room? Or can you, like, how quickly can we get more people interested? And that virality and that referral concept is really what helped us grow. And which is why we also instituted our affiliate program, because now we're also allowing you to be a part of that revenue creation as well.
Oh yeah, and we love that. Like we love that. I mean, if coming from the sales world, I don't have to buy. I mean, seriously, I did not have to design, develop, or create software. It's already done. But yet I'm still able to run and do my own thing. I mean, it's a phenomenal program. I love it. I mean, I can't sell it enough. And then when I hear the other CF words or all this words, and we're in Dallas, Podium, Thrive is big. I'm just like, you guys, this. I mean, your price points are great. The 97 is great. Don't get me wrong, but you guys, you're missing the boat. Everyone's paying $300 for this. It's just get in. You get 10 customers. Quit your day job. That's it. I mean,
we're trying to remove that friction point that I think there's like a preconceived notion of software, what pricing should be, how you should make money on it and stuff like that. And we're just like, it doesn't have to be that way. We can make it easy. And I think so because we made it so easy, there's a lot of skepticism along the way. And so now we're
that's
on
not
the hunt.
true. I can't really do that. What's the catch?
This doesn't make sense. There's no way.
But it really does, though. Think about it. If I'm on the SaaS Pro, which is what I jumped into, coming from an agency, I had customers that were going to cover that. So I was like, okay, we'll beta you, right? Because I didn't know how the software was going to run. So I told my customers it was a beta. Let's try this with your business and see what happens. And I started it out with a fitness guy who now is like, he started with 2,000 leads. Now he's up to 12,000 in 3 years. I mean, crazy,
Wow,
crazy
that's
stuff. Yeah.
crazy.
And insane, like insane. He grew his business 20,000. I think he's gonna hit like 75, 80 this year. His goal is to hit the million. So
Wow.
we're like he's on pace for that. But here's what was really cool is it's like I, as a business owner, if your overhead costs 500 or nine, or let's say 1,000, if you want the white labeled mobile app, there is nowhere on earth that you can slap your brand on a software and pay $500 a month and grow your back end revenue to just continue to grow. And that's why I'm so sold on the SaaSpreneur plan, because not just that, there's other ways to make additional income as growth. And I think a lot of agencies they're just so stuck in this. It's a mindset thing. Seriously, Robin, I think it is because, like, for example, I was using Kajabi for a while. I've used Active Campaign. We're all familiar with these guys.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm paying 97 if I get 3 customers. And this low cost mentality to run a business, it's $500 and you can run really an empire. And we're seeing that happening with lots
Yeah.
of agencies and HighLevel. And I love hearing their success stories. And I'm sure you are too. But I just think as a business owner, I don't have to go and create a web app. I don't have to go and create a mobile app. It's done for me. So even to run with overhead 1,000 plus, say, your email, maybe you throw in a Canva account there, the cost of running a business, you guys have made it really affordable. And I think what I feel like my personal mission is, not just being an affiliate partner, but also coming from the agency and building websites. I feel like our job is to go out there and show people the value and get out of the mindset of 97 3 accounts. And I've heard you say this before in the group. People sign up for the 97. The idea is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to get people in this set. Look, if you're thinking, okay, this is all I can afford, HighLevel's giving you a way in. 97 get you in the door. You have your account, you have your first customer's account, and then you have a snapshot account. Isn't that
Yeah.
kind of the idea? So
Yeah.
we could teach people how to systematize the business, meaning they create the snapshot, so then they're ready to upgrade with the
Yeah.
next paying customer. So the model is really, it isn't too good to be true. It's right in line with the way people and their mindset is. And I think you guys just throwing it out the air was right, because this is how people think. But then I think once you get to that mindset where you're at the 297 plan and more people are coming in, you're like, oh, I can afford this. Let's slap it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of my questions is on the whole SaaS thing is, how, from the agency background, how did you think, or did you guys come up with this? Okay, we've got this pro plan. Now we're going to put into this other model, like a little tier higher. What was the concept and the thinking behind that? I mean, I know what it is from the buyer's perspective, but tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, there's very little that we've created from the ground up. A lot of it is taking the best of every model that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And in that scenario, what we found was the best agencies who were willing to give us any money whatsoever
Uh-huh.
to because we've provided so much value to them. We basically asked, what's your biggest pain point?
Mm-hmm.
And it was twofold. One was the way that they became successful was, of course, you sell professional services, but you have another line item for software.
Mm-hmm.
And it's inevitable from a churn perspective that you have to stop professional services. And instead of dropping down to $0, now you have something still there as revenue, right? And so we saw that. And then it was, well, we're doing incredible by doing that. It's just really hard to maintain those subscriptions and cancel it if they stop paying for it. And, how do
Right.
we monitor and maintain that? We're like, aha. So really, we really should be pushing this idea that you need to become what we call now a SaaSpreneur, which is creating
Mm-hmm.
a separate line item so that you can extract more, create more value through the dollars that you're receiving. But then on top of that, if we can make that life easier by moving up into it, that's the winning solution. And so that's actually how we came up into SaaS mode.
That's really cool. So And one of the things, and we talk about this all the time with high levels, like, guys, get in the group, get involved, watch the YouTube channels. I mean, get into the ideas board, jump on the town halls. I was just on that. I got so excited, and we're not even at high level yet. I mean, we're not even at level up yet. And I'm just like, look what's coming out this quarter. I mean, it's just things like that. We get involved, we get to vote, we get to be a part of a community. And that's the too good to be true thing, Robin, honestly, is like when you are here, me 2 years ago, actually, yeah, it was about 2 years ago, and I'm like, what about social media? And then Pooja, I got to be on a call with her. I showed her like all my stuff. We're getting involved in the business. And now, you know what? Everybody comes to me for social media. Well,
Yeah.
it's because I got involved. It's because I was there from the ground up. And now I'm actively, what's next? What's next? What's coming on? What's going on? And we show them in development what's working, and it was really cool to be a part of that and to just show her, like, look, I'm using these are the three of my competitors, and then I'm sharing my screen. And she's like, yes, we're going to do that, we're going to do that. Okay, I like that. I like, listening to us, the people that are actually in it. And I can't tell you enough, Robin. It's really a cool model. Not just the model, but just the involvement of being involved. I guess you could
Yeah.
say you make us feel special. You know,
Well,
you really do.
I
And
mean,
I'm excited, about Level Up, because yeah, sure, we're paying for it, but I'm excited to celebrate the 5 years with y'all. I'm really
yeah,
excited. I was bummed that I missed it last year, but I've been trying to tell everybody, just go.
yeah, it's going to be a great event. I mean, I think our model is always the way that, Varun, Sean, and I always looked at it is it's a lot more fun when you're building with your customer instead of building for your customer.
Hmm.
And we've always looked at other businesses, always looked at other concepts, and it feels like every company that's out there, not only are they losing money, they're unprofitable, they're just creating these sales teams trying to really force down ideas to
Right.
customers, thinking that it's a great idea, trying to predict the future. You don't know you need this, but we built this new something, right? And we just
Right.
like, that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel genuine. So why don't we just work with our customers and they'll just tell us what they want and we'll build it alongside with them? Because if we can hit that mark, that community feeling will go a lot further. And I do think that there's skepticism along the way. It's like, there's no way you do that, or no other company does that. So it's not going to work. And I think we consistently say, like, it may not be the right model for you. It was interesting. I was on a call the other day and someone was really not happy with our style of thinking, right? A lot of the products that we have, it may not feel polished out the gate. And it is by design because we don't know what's right or wrong. And so,
Hmm.
do we need to put the button to the left or right? Well, we have to put it out there to see. And then we ask our customers, and we'll get on calls with incredible people like you, Kathy, who you tell us the feedback, or here's what you're looking for, or here's what's missing, or here's where we should go next. And then over time, the team is on a chase to get to that perfect level. But we could be like every other company where we hold it back and give us 3 years to only wait 3 years to realize we didn't hit the mark again.
Yeah,
Right. And so
the other thing you're not doing version 1, version 2, version 3.
no,
It's
so it's
Explain that. Explain that. We've all heard the skateboard theory, and I've heard you explain this, and I think this is a really good thing. Explain that to us so everybody can
yeah,
kind of understand, how
yeah,
that works.
yeah. So it's a skateboard model. So really what we try to do is focus our time and attention to the concept of 80% of utilization comes from 20% of the features. And so if you go down that path, we're trying to build the skateboard version of a product.
Hmm.
And so we'll take, what does everyone use? What does everyone want? And think about you going to the airport. Every car rental place, you jump into a car, it doesn't matter what brand, steering wheel is always on the same side. The gear
Hmm.
shifter is always on the same letters, reverse, drive, gas pedal's always on the right side, brake pedal, like, there's pattern recognition there. So that's what we go to market with, and we focus on what's the most important thing that you need for us to say it's live. And we scope that down as fast as possible, and we call that the skateboard. And that will get you to point A to point B. Now, is it going to be
Hmm.
glamorous? if the weather's bad, you're going to get rained on and things like that.
Right.
We understand it. But we need you to hear that. We need to hear those complaints. We need to hear that feedback circle as fast as possible. And then guess what? We'll add the handlebars and we'll add better wheels on there to make it a scooter. And then we're still going to get complaints. And yes, you'll get A to B. You have a little bit more stability now that you have the
Mhm.
steering on it, but you need it to run a little bit faster. So we need to improve our infrastructure, make it a little bit smoother, make it, and now it turns into a motorcycle, right? And we just continue evolving until it turns into the race car. But it does take time. But if we can do it with you, not only are we hitting the mark consistently, we're gonna also build it with you, and so that you actually know the in and out of that product versus what we were talking about earlier. You got to now read all these manuals and be in the books before you're ready to go out to market.
Right.
And so that's the model that worked for us, and it's not for everybody. Because of the skepticism, it just doesn't feel right, or I feel that uncertainty of it not meeting the needs. Only to realize that when you're out in the market, it is that 80-20 rule. 80% of utilization is on those 20% of features, and I guarantee you we had those 20% of features. Now, is it going to be as polished? May or may not, but don't worry, we're going to get there. And that's really the model that we follow.
Yeah, and just as a simple thing, what I loved about y'all's when I was looking at it from a CRM perspective, we were doing imports, 1,000, 10,000, some 20,000 imports. But the trainable software, the even with the new UI, and I know y'all are updating the new UI everywhere, but you're keeping it consistent. And I think that's one thing that if you don't get it enough, we really appreciate that, because when you're telling your customers on, menu on the left, then look at the top, right? And it's consistent throughout the software itself, no matter what features and how you guys grow it. It's all, like you said, point A, point B, and it's right here. And when you bring on something new, it's not like, oh, we moved that over here where it doesn't make sense. It's like you're continuing to develop the software. And you know what I loved about this when we started with the social planner? It was like, it's like this. If people could just look at this whole skateboard theory as also a learning theory as well, you just now got this new CRM. Let's concentrate on what's finished, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
on the agency side, if we're saying, hey, look, let's get down contacts, conversations, and opportunities. Now let's get, we've got this whole new workflow thing coming up. Now that you're feeling good about workflows, when this comes out, you're going to feel even better and you're going to love it. And if we as agencies, or even, if you're doing the SaaS model, whatever model you're doing, I think it's all about educating the customer on how that works. And I think a lot of agencies are still not understanding that skateboard theory. So I really appreciate you, taking the time to explain that, because I think if they could just see that, I've seen comments in the group, where's version 2? Where's version 3?
yeah,
And you're just like, oh, if have you not seen enough, of everybody's
yeah. And
posts?
we're a glutton for punishment, so everyone punches us in the face for kind of our unorthodox methods and things like that. One of the things that we always talk about is the sizzle is always the new feature, so the Sean coming at you videos. But what people
Yeah.
don't realize behind the scenes is that we're providing more enhancements and updates and bug fixes and changes and stuff constantly. But it's hard to glamorize that. No one wants to hear about that, right?
Right.
It was funny. We were on a call earlier today, and the analogy came up about Tesla. And when Tesla released the new Tesla Model S Plaid, right? It's the fastest car out there. And on that call, somebody yelled out, "Oh yeah, 1.99 seconds." Yeah, that's what everyone remembered. How that was the fastest production electric car that's out in the world. But what people
Mhm.
didn't realize on the back end was the actual phenomenal thing that Tesla did was actually build this new braking motor to be able to support a car like that. And that was actually a feat of its own. But no one is glamorized by that. There's no sex appeal. There's
Right.
no sizzle about the
Yeah,
brakes,
get
right?
the break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's actually what revolutionized electric cars recently to be able to
Mhm.
support these high speed vehicles. But no one cares about that. Everyone's just worried about the new feature. You can go
Yeah.
super fast. Don't worry about it. And I think that that's one of those challenges that we deal with as well. Sean's producing all these videos because we do have a lot of new features. But just so everyone knows, behind the scenes, the team is actively, constantly trying to, make it even better bug fixes and stuff like that. And I think that's what makes people a little skeptical and uncertain about, can they do it or can they sell it? Because it's so unorthodox. It's not the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I love what you said. It's you're learning along the way, and it allows you to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
properly teach and let your customers learn because you're basically one step ahead of them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what a teacher is. They're 1% smarter than the room.
That's right. And it's really cool because like the way the software is set, I don't whether you're an agency or a small business, we teach everybody, but the way the software is set is that you can use it from a business perspective if that's all you're concentrating on, right? The sub accounts, or from the agency perspective, which really allows you to manage all of your customers in one just click of a button and everything's there. If you're going to run a business, whether you're an agency or a small business, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but if you're going to run a business, you really need to know the ins and outs of your business. And I'm always encouraging people to get in the group, to watch those tech videos, see what's going on behind the scenes, because every time I've stayed in tune, and sometimes I'm liking every one of Sean's videos, and he probably thinks I'm crazy, but I do that so I can make sure it's the one I've watched, right? In the featured or in the YouTube,
Right.
because I'm like, did I watch that one? Did I catch that? And here's why. Because the second you watch that video, literally, it may not be that same day, it might be like that same week. A customer is going to come to you and say, can I do this? Or this doesn't really work. Oh, they're working on that. Or it's coming. Or hey, we know that's we're already ahead of the game. So whether you're, a busy, whatever you're running, a SaaS or an agency, that knowledge, if we just spent time in the group or spent time on the YouTube channel, really looking at what development's doing, then we're already involved. And I,
Yeah.
I I love that because like I would say that, oh yep, we're working on it, oh it's coming, or oh this, and now we got like all these fun awesome additions to HighLevel that you know ad spending, ad AI, the whole thing. And it's like I have something else coming and I have something
Yeah.
else coming, and it's like, but like you said on the technical thing, it's not sexy. We know it's not. Nobody wants to hear what API, what's what. We don't
Yeah.
get
What
it.
was cleaned up? Yeah.
Yeah, and most non-technical people don't, but what we do need to get is that when they say, "Where's YouTube on Social Planner?" It's coming. We know it's coming, and we know what quarter because why? We were at the town hall. We were watching, we were involved. And if it's your business, you really need to be involved, and especially if you're going to rely on HighLevel, you want to know these things. So that's my 2 cents, and I tell everybody that. And I love that you brought that up because I think a lot of people they go, oh, I don't have time for that. Or, we know you're busy, but you're going to wish you did when that customer is asking you that question,
Yeah. And
you
actually,
know?
that's part of the reason that we came up with the concept of doing the Sean coming at you videos is because
I
it's
love
bite
that.
size and it's something that's portable, right? So you could watch those. You can even listen to
Hmm.
uh, those Loom videos anywhere that you're at, and it's really more about listening and hearing what's coming out.
That's right.
And what I recommend people, where people get hung up with it, is they're trying to learn everything that's coming out, and that's where I tell people to stop.
Hmm.
You just need to wait to what you just said. At some point in the future, someone's going to ask you about it and be like, you know what? I remember we have
Yep.
something about it. Now that's the time for you to do the research and actually
Yeah.
learn it.
Go back to the
It-
Loom, pause it, zoom all the way back in to see
yeah.
what the feature was.
Wait till it's applicable, but what we want
Yeah.
to do is acknowledge it, for you that something else is coming. And it may not be for you, it could be for another agency or another business owner that's out there
Right.
where the value really exists. And so it's a very interesting model. It's not orthodox, it's not
Yeah, but you
the
guys are
right
proving
way.
to the industry that it's working. I mean, I can't wait to hear the numbers at Level Up because, I mean, numbers don't lie, right? Coming from a salesperson, numbers don't lie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, the one that I'm most shocked about, and we'll go deeper into it at Level Up Pay, is we've actually generated I think we broke $1 billion of actual revenue that agencies have built through the platform, and that is actually
Wow.
trackable, where it's $1 billion collectively in their pockets through SaaS mode, through rebilling, all of those
That's
things.
awesome.
It's in their pocket.
And let me ask you this: you don't think it's done, right? I've heard a lot of people. When I jumped on the affiliate, I was like, "Oh, I should have did that 2 years ago." But then I was like, "Wait, there's still so many people that aren't even using high level," and I feel like at some points we kind of get discouraged. Oh, they're already with another agency, or they're already doing this, or high level's already out there. What would you tell people when it comes to being the numbers guy? If
Yeah.
I just signed up today and I was going to do my agency or my affiliate or whatever it was, what would you tell us and encourage us to do?
Yeah, so a number that I like to look at is so the SBA here in the United States,
Mhm.
they report that on any given year pre-COVID, there's about 300,000 to 400,000 new EINs generated every year.
Wow.
Through COVID, that exploded to about 600,000 a year. This year, we're on pace to 750,000 new EINs. Now, of course, businesses can have multiple EINs, and there's reasons why you have it. But to start any new business, you have
Mhm.
to start with the EIN. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think generationally, there are a lot of people who, in many different industries, were working under an organization, and because
Mhm.
of COVID, there is a world of acceleration where it's like, I just want to work for my local market or do it myself. I
Mhm.
met a individual. He's a plumber. He was working for one of the larger plumber businesses here in Dallas and was doing incredibly well. That business, had 25 trucks,
Mhm.
commercials, and stuff like that. And because of COVID, saved up a little bit of money, got his own truck, and now doing
Mhm.
it himself. And guess what? He now is a registered business and now looking for marketing help and wants to grow. So I think there's opportunity all over the place. And
Mhm.
then there's also people who have coming off of traditional media. They've been,
Mhm.
running their business through historically, legacy business, the dentist.
Mhm.
He's been in the same place in the local market for 20, 30 years, and maybe their son or daughter is now replacing them. Well,
Mhm.
the new person that's taking over wants to get with modern times. So now they're shopping the market. How do I get caught up? And there's actually this huge shift of generational businesses that's
Mhm.
moving down generation. And two things that are happening there. One is the incoming family wants to take it over and they're trying to modernize it, or they're trying to sell it because no one wants to pick up that business. And so they're selling it to a new person, and that new person is looking for marketing as well. So I think just across the board, there's opportunity everywhere. I think it's just if you're only prospecting at face value, it's going to be
Mhm.
tough. But once you get ingrained in a niche or an industry or even in your local market, you just get start going to the Chamber of Commerce, go to those network meetings, you'll
Mhm.
very quickly you'll understand where opportunity exists.
So I'm almost done with this video. I'm going to launch it within the next couple weeks, but it's called 12 businesses you can start with high level. And it actually breaks down the 12 businesses, and then we teach people in there what they can do with their 12 businesses only using high level. Like, I mean, we'll throw in some Canva or something, graphical software, but
That is
pretty
awesome.
soon we're going to have that too. So, it's like
Yeah.
all kinds of fun stuff. But my last question here, and then I know you got to get ready because you're doing lots of level up prepping, which I'm excited about. By the way, is there anything this is really my last question. Is there any secrets that you can tell us about Level Up to say out of the bag, or is it all going to be announced at some point somewhere?
Yeah.
Stay
So
in the group.
yeah. So we'll definitely basically the event, we want to make it a celebration of our customers. And
Uh
of
huh.
course, we're a product company, so we have a lot of cool surprises that we're throwing in the product itself. But and so we'll have that announcement. Usually we do that the first day. And usually after the event ends, we'll do a rebroadcast of the level update portion. So everyone, in the community will finally get to see it. And we really want to incentivize people who are there, early access, or we'll do something special. And at least you get early notifications. So there won't be any Sean coming at you videos for the drops. You got to wait till afterwards.
That's funny. That's
You,
funny.
you know, so that's one of the things. But it is a celebration, and so while we have amazing speakers, and what's cool about the speakers is majority of them use high level in their business, and that's they've grown their business substantially because of high level. And if they aren't using high level significantly in their business, they're starting or they're getting ready to start leveraging the product itself. So it's not like just random speakers, it's people that actually know the product, which is really amazing. And then on top of that, we have breakout sessions. So from a tactical side of things, how to use the product or how to sell, or different concepts. And then we'll have some amazing parties with surprises and that in itself as well.
Yeah, so if you guys are here, go. I'm actually going to be staying in the I live in Dallas, but I've already got I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to drive, do
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know
You,
what I
you,
mean?
don't- you don't want to. You're gonna have too
When
much
I
fun. That
saw the
you're gonna stay at the
menu, I
hotel.
was like, gosh, the breakfast is early. That's, forget it. I'll just take the hotel.
The
And it's
these are
cool. My sister lives like right around the corner too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The hotel is
over
awesome.
by
I mean,
closer to Vickery, but
oh, got it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The venue is awesome. The schedule is jam packed. We wanna fill your cup of high level. From early morning all the way to late night, and so we're gonna make sure that you have a good time, and we'll also have breaks in there and time for you to recalibrate, get some breathing room along the way. But it's gonna be a great event, and we're super excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like I'm like 6 weeks. Okay, 6 weeks. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and our team is
And then
scrambling 6 weeks trying to
oh
get everything
yeah,
ready.
right, right. I know. And there's a lot of us too doing like, training videos and releases and I'm like it'll be after high level cuz there's something else we're going to have to edit, you know what I mean?
Right,
I
exactly.
think I've done 3, no, 4 different training videos on contacts, conversations and opportunities and I'm just to the point where I'm like I was like, "Oh, I'll just go grab footage from this one." I'm like, no, it doesn't look the
That's a
same
matchup.
anymore. It's like
Yeah.
totally different. So, yeah. So I was like asking development the other day. I was like, what's done that I can do? Because we're about to launch our whole system. I want to make sure they get the latest thing. And then
Right,
it was like,
right.
oh no, man, it's going to be like high level. I'll be in the hotel room going, and here's how you do this,
Yeah. Hot off the press.
But no, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us, Robin. I'm super excited to talk to you. I love that it's kind of cool. I didn't know you were a DJ before. That's kind of fun. But I will see you at Level Up. And then for everyone else, jump in the Facebook group. Stay up. Stay in tune. Come if you can. Sign up. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think they're about to be out. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, definitely go in and get it. But thank you again, Robin. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And I guess I'll see you at Level Up, and then we'll see you on at High Level inside the group or
Y-
wherever.
Yeah, yeah, I'm everywhere. But yeah, no, thank you for having me on. This has been incredible.
Okay, thanks again, Robin. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye, Kathy.
Okay, bye bye.